What is the worst experience you've had with a toilet? Not me, but a friend of mine. A group of us all decided to go on a camping trip without respective SOs. His GF tells him she will not go unless they have a toilet. So he goes out and buys a portable chemical toilet. He also buys a new tent for them to use and retire the old tent to be the bathroom. He sets the toilet up in town on the valley floor, fills up the fill tank with the blue chemical fluid. He tests it to make sure it works properly. The operation is simple. You pull a lever which opens a flap in the bottom of the toilet. The evidence is dropped through the flap, and then a second valve drops fluid down sides of toilet into the open flap, flushing all remaining evidence into the lower tank. The flap then returns to its original position, creating a nice airtight seal, preventing the contents of lower tank from disturbing your precious sensibilities. We drive all the way up to the top of the mountain and set up camp. We have a fun day of eating camp food, drinking beer and having fun. It's now probably close to midnight and pitch black. My friend is the first one to need to use the new bathroom with the new 20th century chemical toilet. He excuses himself and proceeds to thoroughly test the storage capacity of the upper bowl. He pushes the lever to open the flap to the lower sealed tank. Immediately he gets a lesson on air pressure displacement, as the 7,000 or so feet higher elevation has resulted in a much higher pressure inside the waste tank than the air outside. There also appears to be a slurry of liquid and solid waste between escaping air and victim. What we hear around the campfire is a loud whoomp followed by friends screaming, "Oh god, oh crap, oh god." Of course, being the good friends, we are rushed to his aid with him yelling, "Don't come in here. Don't come in here." Many wet naps were used that night, a midnight Creek River bath, and years of harassment came from that night. That was the last camping trip for that tent. It was retired. The toilet, however, still is used, but the reason for the little screw valve on the side was learned by all. Was at a Target one day shopping for groceries and whatnot. I then got that feeling, you know, when you gotta take a dump. I rushed to the nearest bathroom and unleashed the beast. Mind you, this Target only had one bathroom, and it was a bathroom where only one person would be in there at a time. I thought that it would be a quick crap, but it turned out I was wrong and it would not stop coming out. This goes on for about 10-15 minutes, then I hear knocking on the door. It was a lady that said, "My son really has to use the bathroom, would you please hurry up?" I couldn't really respond to her because of all the pain I was feeling, so I basically moaned and grunted at her. After about 3 minutes later, I hear a kid screaming "mommy," and I could probably tell it was the mom's son. Hearing this, I know I need to hurry up, so I force myself to squeeze out the extremities faster. As soon as it's done, I wipe fast as possible. The worst part is that when I tried to flush the toilet, it clogged. So about 3/4 of the toilet bowl is filled of crap, pee, and toilet paper. Scared, I wash my hands and make a run for the door, then to my car. When I exit the bathroom, I notice a little boy crying and his mom saying things like "frick," "dang," "crap," etc. Turns out the kid shat himself because I was taking such a long time. It was awkward when I was walking back to my car, since the women's car was right next to mine and she was carrying him to the car so that the kid could go home and change. I was pooping in a train toilet. I thought it was locked. My country's train toilets use electronical locks. You push a button and it's supposed to be locked, but it wasn't. Some young good-looking lady walked right in. I was confused and didn't know what to say. One, because I was crapping. Two, because she was a fine-looking woman. So what came from my mouth joyfully was, "Tickets, please," and then the door closed automatically. Just the other day actually. I've been sick for days. Really sick. At the start of this all, I had very bad diarrhea. So, I romped over to the throne and proceeded to squirt brown. As I was finishing up, least I thought, I began to feel rather nauseous. Nay, exceedingly nauseous. I had to puke something fierce. No trash can in reach. I flush the toilet and spin myself around. Course, my Hershey squirts are still barreling down the bowel when I begin to retch out the other end. Naturally, I'm pretty grossed out, which makes bowing down to the porcelain god all the worse. I'm now heaving so hard, I feel more bum gravy starting to creep its way out, so I clench hard between blowing chunks, retching from the smell of a throne full of liquid Satan in my face, and the clenching. I managed to throw my back out. The pain caused me to lose my grip on my gravy fountain, and I proceeded to crap all over my bathroom floor and feet lower legs. So, here I am, Recycled oatmeal dribbling down my chin. Back is throbbing in pain. And I'm cleaning up a healthy dose of butt mud. That pretty much set the tone for the rest of the week. I have Hirschsprung's disease, which basically means I was born without the muscles that move poop through the intestines. Basically when I have to poop, there's no holding it for a while. I have maybe 5 minutes before I crap myself. So I have many poop stories. My favorite happened when I was about 10. I went over to a friend's house, whose mother was a teacher at the school we went to, for the night. Since she is a girl and I'm a boy, we couldn't sleep in the same room, so I had to sleep in her older brother's room, who was about 16. Right before it was time for bed, my friend's mom said not to use the bathroom in the brother's room. I definitely did not hear this, probably because we were playing Legos or something. Anyways, about 2 AM I feel the need, and rush to the closest bathroom, her brother's bathroom. I left the beefiest diarrhea crap I have ever shat in that poor toilet. There's 3 funny parts to this story. First, there was no water in the bowl. Crap, there was no water in that whole bathroom. Second, since everyone knew to not use that bathroom, the door was always shut, so the smell slipped under the nasal radar for like 3 days, and the contents of the bowl hardened into poop steel. Lastly, her mom asked me at school if I knew anything about them needing to replace a certain toilet in a certain forbidden bathroom. The by far worst experience started with a job on a crappy boat, no pun intended yet. The toilet system gets clogged by anything other than human waste and toilet paper. Someone had taken upon themselves to flush paper towels down the system, causing the engineer to repair it and blast it out. I had unlucky timing while sitting on the toilet, and the blowout blew what felt like the crap of 50 men, the crew on the boat at the time, all over myself, the walls and ceiling of the head. Typically I won't drop a deuce anywhere but my own house, but one time I was at my new girlfriend's house and the situation was dire. I was getting sweaty fighting it. My stomach was making the sound that there were radioactive gases brewing, and I knew I didn't have time to get all the way home. So instead, thinking I have the bowels of a normal person, I went to the bathroom and destroyed that toilet. Even with the fan on, I'm positive she heard it, as if I recorded it for her on my phone. Finally it was over. I flush, and it clogs. I spent a total of 45 minutes in there between the act and the post-war toilet maintenance, and lost any smooth points I had with her for the next several months. One time when I was little, I wanted to know what it would be like to be blind, so I blindfolded myself. When it was time to pee, I couldn't see the toilet and accidentally peed on the lid and started crying. The frick did I just read? Not sure if was my worst or my best. I was peeing when a big sneeze hit me, which made me fart, which for some reason was followed immediately by a burp, which made me snort, and laughter, which gave me the hiccups. Once I farted at the exact same time someone texted me. My phone was in my front pocket and set to vibrate. For a split second I thought I'd farted so hard it was coming out front and back. I was walking into a stall in a subway, as in the underground transportation system, when I slipped in a puddle of pee and stuck my right arm into a pile of unflushed crap in the toilet in front of me, soaking my knees in pee, covering my hand above the wrist in the worst case of the runs I've ever seen, and badly spraining a couple of fingers when they caught on the edge of the toilet when I was catching myself. Then I vomited. I was at my girlfriend's house for the second time. Things were still rather tense. I got a terrible stomachache during dinner and had to use the bathroom immediately. The layout of their house was in a way that the bathroom was next to the dining room. Not wanting to make much embarrassing noise, I wisely created a nest of toilet paper on the ground to later transfer the poo into the toilet. Squatting down, I began crapping, lost my balance, fell, hit my head on the counter and fell unconscious. I was found in a mess of crap when I came to. Academic hall bathroom, senior year of college. Went to take a crap during class. Did not look at the roll beforehand. Go to wipe. No paper. By myself in the bathroom, so I do that sort of haven't wiped my butt crap walk to check the other stall. No toilet paper there either. Go to the paper towel dispenser. No paper. Ended up using a handful of gum wrappers I had in my pocket to get enough to walk downstairs to the other bathroom and finish the job. I still have nightmares. Having to throw up and crap at the same time. Ah, the old double dragon. I was a janitor at a truck stop through high school, and off and on through university. They would let me work whenever I was in town. One of the toilets won't flush, like you literally couldn't push the handle down. Weird, right? Take off the lid and see something all bunched up. Can't tell what it is right away, other than fabric. I reach in, wearing latex gloves, and pull. The smell hit before the sight. I gagged. Literally, it was like the smell of 10 porta potties combined with schnitzel that was overcooked and shame. I've never smelled anything like it. It was a pair of red briefs, with a lot of crap in them. Full on logs that had been slightly smushed. Gross, right? As I lift, I can feel the weight of the soiled garment and wonder how long he'd been holding it in. I'm trying to make sure nothing falls into the tank because I don't want to have to clean that out. So I'm watching closely, trying not draw attention to my panic in the busy washroom. I see the topper. There's only one substance that looks like that. CM. The guy had crap in his pants and then CM into the crap and placed it in the toilet for me to find. Okay, so when I was in the first grade I went to this hardcore Christian school in Florida, USA. So one day, my class went on a field trip to the library or something along those lines. I just remember them leaving the classroom for about half an hour or so. Anyway, I wasn't allowed to come because the week before I had tied my shoes together in the library and so I got kicked out. So here I am, first grader alone in the classroom, when I feel a grumbly in my tumbly. I figure that I have to wait until my teacher gets back before I am allowed to go to the bathroom, so I patiently wait as the poop pains get more and more intense. Eventually, I am in the corner curled into a ball squeezing my butt cheeks with the force of 1000 gods. I hear my teacher from down the hall and as I jump into the air with relief, I crap myself. I straight up crap myself as my entire class enters the classroom. So then, first grade me tries to play it off like nothing's going on and I sit in my seat and proceed to learn. I'm an idiot. I freaking crap myself. The teacher pulls me out and tells me that the entire class can smell my crap-filled drawers and sends me to the nurse's office while I'm forced to sit on a toilet until my parents can come. I ended up sitting on that toilet with crap covering my legs and crying for about 2 hours. When my parents finally arrived I had hives covering my legs from that godforsaken toilet. In an Indian restaurant, I went for a pee, and whilst I was sitting there I noticed that a few of the tiles were blown, as in they had come away from the wall. So in my slightly drunken state I thought, I will give them a prod. So I did. At that point a vast quantity of tiles fell off the wall, causing a very loud crash. Everyone in the restaurant heard it, had to walk back to my table with everyone including the servers looking at me. I never went back. Seeing the words Indian restaurant and blown made me think that your story was going to take a completely different turn. Mine would probably be having a violent period the morning after a night out, whilst staying with my then girlfriend in her dorm room, conducted in her ensuite bathroom, with little to no sound insulation. I'd snuck out of bed around 6 AM. Praying to every available deity to leave her peacefully sleeping whilst I experienced my furious bowel vacation. Regrettably, this was not to be. As soon as I sat on the unfortunate porcelain throne I unleashed a torrent of gas and liquid not usually experienced outside of volcanic eruptions. This was the pyroclastic flow of crapping. The noise was inescapable, and any attempt to control it just resulted in a greater volume, except furnished with an embarrassingly puckered nuance. After the storm, I carefully opened the door, once again silently praying that my girlfriend would be clearly asleep, blissfully oblivious to the tarnation I'd just inflicted to her bathroom. Instead I saw her shaking with laughter under the covers. Possibly not the worst experience one can have with a toilet, as Elvis would no doubt attest, but it was extremely embarrassing. When I was about 8 I accidentally zipped my foreskin up in my zipper. My mom had to come unzip me, which was not awesome. Things got pretty mangled up, so we're driving to the hospital. My mom is yelling at my dad, "I told you we should have circumcised him." My dad is yelling at me for being such a dumbass, and I'm just bawling my eyes out in the back seat. Good times. Ended up having to get circumcised because the doctor was worried that it would heal up with scar tissue that would cause problems down the line. On the plus side, I got a week off school. At my then girlfriend's house and I've got to pee. Excuse myself to take a leak and I find myself fighting two streams. My pee hole was semi-blocked from my self-love activities conducted a few hours previous. Is there a name for this? Typically the blockage is only temporary, but on this occasion the two-stream dragon did not waver. One stream hit the water as the second sprayed the seat, wall, and floor. In hindsight, I could have remedied the trouble by simply squatting lower. In my panic, I used the only available tool I had, my hand, to bank stream 2 back into the bowl. I spent the next 10 minutes cleaning a good amount of pee off the floor and walls. The word you are looking for is cement. Your pee hole was cemented shut. I was traveling to Bangkok on a long and sweaty overnight train. In the morning, as we approached the city, we started making frequent stops at the commuter stations along the way, knowing we'd be off the train soon, and not knowing how long it would be until I found another bathroom. I took advantage of the onboard facilities. Being a Westerner, I felt very lucky to discover this train had a Western-style sit-down toilet. I sat down and did my business as the train rolled along, and then went about finishing up. I stood up and went to pick up my pants from around my ankles, but was unable to bend over at the waist to grab them due to the tight space. The toilet faced a wall with very little extra room past one's toes while sitting. Sadly, being that I was still half asleep, it didn't occur to me to just squat down and grab my pants from around my ankles. So I turned around 180 degrees where there was space to bend over and retrieve them. This is where thing went all wrong for me very suddenly. Having turned to face the toilet and then proceeded to bend at the waist to grab my pants, the train reached one of the many commuter stations and began braking, causing the contents of toilet's storage tank to slosh forward as momentum would have it. Before I knew what was happening, the most fetid, malodorous blast of hot damp air blasted up from the toilet, directly into my face, and filled the entire washroom. It was quite literally all I could do to stop myself from vomiting. However, this left me with an awkward dilemma. With my pants not yet restored to a publicly acceptable position, and on the verge of vomiting, do I burst from the bathroom immediately to get fresh air at the risk of exposing myself to, and possibly vomiting on, any number of innocent Thai passengers? Or do I remain in the now much more humid washroom long enough to finish doing up my pants and have a safe place to vomit in the process should the need continue to rise? Somehow, mostly on modest instinct, I stayed in that washroom for the longest 20 seconds in recent memory, hastily fumbling with my zipper and button the way a frightened child hastily fumbles up the stairs from a dark basement, before finally bursting out of the washroom and gulping in the now seemingly fresh air of the train's passenger compartment. I returned to my place in the train, still short of breath, and sighed exasperatedly to my then fiancé of no more than 24 hours, as I took my seat, who thought I was about to make some sort of crude poop joke and sternly shushed me. It was only later that night that I could explain to her what had transpired. SHHH. Like this video, but quietly so you don't wake up the sleeping papa. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.